Man, Bryan Broaddus, man, I can't, man. Look, man, it's crazy, you know. You start getting these new jobs, man. People build these studios, and you say, man, dog, we get all this opportunity, Bryan Broaddus, come out here on the world stage and talk some Cowboys. And, Bryan, it's me and you would talk about it a bunch.
We will.
And maybe like 20 times this offseason, you look me in the eye, you said, Voch Lombardi. I said, what's up, Bryan? Man, if the Cowboys win some games, boy, it's going to be a good year for business, you say.
Absolutely.
Damn, boy, as soon as we get a studio, man, Voch get on TV a little bit, soon as, you know, the fan get some good ratings over the ticket and all that, boy. As soon as we get that, boy, the Cowboys come out there and lay some eggs on us, man. We appreciate y'all for tapping in with us on this dreary, gloomy, I don't know if y'all in the Carolinas or the West Coast, you know, Cowboy fans are everywhere. You could be in Saudi Arabia or something, I don't know, but it's raining here in the DFW, and that's very much so telling to what happened with the Dallas football Cowboys. They lost to the Bears. I don't even want to say the score because it's embarrassing, Bryan Broaddus. It is what it is. Me and you come in here, and I think we do a pretty good job of laying out
trying to lay out different ways that the Bears could beat you, different ways you can beat up on them. You know, execution matters, though. It absolutely does.
We could draw it up on paper all we like, but execution matters. Bryan Broaddus, man, you want to talk about the offense or the defense first, Bryan Broaddus? What you want to talk about? You know what?
I'm going to go after. The offense here.
Let's have a conversation about the offense. So, Bryan Broaddus, we walk into this thing knowing what we need. You know what I mean, you feel like this defense is going to give up big plays. And
absolutely.
In order for this Cowboys team, the offense has to be successful.
They do.
Turnover on your first drive, that's not going to help you at all.
Not at all.
You felt like the run game got going, but how game flow dictated, you lost the ability to run the football. All right, cool, bet. You get in the red zone a whole bunch, but you didn't finish in the red zone. You get an opportunity on the goal line where you probably could have just ran the ball twice and got in the end zone. But you threw the ball, you threw fades 3 times.
Right.
Questionable from Shady there. I felt like Dak played all right. I don't think he played a terrible game.
Right.
He had 2 picks, and I feel like one pick was, you know, the ball bouncing off Pickens' hand.
That was on Pickens for sure.
And the other pick was like, damn, man, we could have avoided that if we just ran the ball.
Right.
So, just a lot of clunkiness going on with the offense. I saw some good, saw some bad. Your tackles played bad again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I can sort of forgive it when it's Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, Thibodeau. I can kind of forgive it, but, you know, Montez walking you back, some of these other miscellaneous characters, they got on your tackles pretty bad there, Bryan Broaddus. Talk to me about what you saw from this offense. You had a take that was interesting when we was doing pre-show. I think we'll have a pretty good back and forth about it.
Yeah, I think to me, Voch, when you look at this team, and it's whether you follow Voch, and he mentioned it, whether you follow us on DallasCowboys.com, whether you follow us here, you know, on Crown Global Media, we are going to try and give you an idea of where you need to attack, where you might need to look at maybe making some plays against the opponents, but both offensively and defensively. And in this particular game, I know going in, I felt like that the Bears, even with their offensive issues, with their problems with their inability to run the football and their quarterback being really inconsistent and missing wide receivers with throws, this team had the potential to score 30 points. Yep. I know myself, I picked a 35-30 game on DallasCowboys.com. I felt like the Bears were going to potentially find ways. I was worried about Caleb Williams running with the football. That wasn't the issue. Caleb Williams running the football wasn't the issue. The issue was that your defense continually does not play well in the secondary, do not match up well. They played a little bit less of zone coverage. Instead of playing 100% of zone coverage, they played like 89% zone coverage. Sure. But when they played man coverage, what were the Bears? 4 for 4 with a touchdown. So there's an issue within this secondary right now. Will it get better with some more bodies coming on board? We'll see. But the lack of pass rush at times, you know, guys like Donovan Ezeraku looks pretty good rushing the passer. You could see him getting off the ball, and you could see him getting around the edge, and you could see all those things. So defensively, you knew there were going to be some problems over there. You know, that's it. This team, Voch, has to win with its offense. Yep. It has to win. And Unfortunately, it almost has to be like the Giants game every week. And you mentioned about offensive line play. You mentioned about receivers. It didn't help the fact that CeeDee Lamb got hurt early in that football game. It really didn't. Matter of fact, on the play, they should have called a penalty on the play for the way he was tackled.
Sure.
That right there was just as clear as day, and that's how you get these guys hurt in the league. But Dak Prescott missed some throws in this game. He checked the ball down, and when you go back, when you watch the All-22, they're playing a cover 2 look, much like what Dallas plays, but they're playing it in a way where they're giving you the opportunity for some hole shots. They're giving you an opportunity to run some routes. And there were a couple different times. The one time you did see a hole shot is when the ball went down the field to Turpin in between the corner and the safety, and he got whacked. But it was a big play. It was a chunk play. There were some opportunities in this game for some chunk plays, and Dallas just didn't do a good enough job. And there were times where they had max protection called, and they were going to take a deep shot. They ran 3 routes. They ran 3 routes down the field, run max protection. What happens? Guyton gets beat around the end for a sack, and then they get beat up the middle. Even when they're trying to do some things to max protect and maybe take a shot, all of a sudden now they have a breakdown by one of their players. Mm-hmm. And those are the problems that you have. And Dallas's offense can't afford those because the defense isn't good enough. The defense is always going to be under attack until you kind of figure some things out. So this offense is the one that has to, and they have to score points. Yeah. They can't have turnovers. They can't have the ball go off Pickens' hands like that when he's open.
Fumbles.
The fumble too.
Sure.
All that. So see, to me, we knew Dallas's defense was not going to be good enough. Yeah. Even against the Bears, it probably wasn't going to be good enough, and it wasn't. Right. But here's the offense scoring 14 points against a team that was struggling at cornerback. Matter of fact, Voch and I even told you this. Voch told you that if you attack Nahshon Wright, which we all know Nahshon Wright, great. And then we learned about McLeod. There's teams that have perfect quarterback ratings against McLeod, the nickel. Cowboys were 10 of 11 throwing the ball against those 2 players. 3 of 10 throwing the ball against Stevenson on the other side. What does that tell you? Why are you not attacking more to the sides of the players like a Nahshon Wright or McLeod? Why are you going the other way? Or why are you even checking the ball down? Why are you not putting more pressure on Nahshon Wright and also McLeod to have to make some plays in this game? And you should be okay with that. You should be okay. Even without Lamb, you should be okay to be able to attack these guys.
Brian,
but you don't.
Let me ask you this, Brian. Would you, taking a shot versus those guys, right?
Yeah.
There's some risk there. Would you rather be the guy that says, well, if Dak is going to not take that risk downfield and check it down, I would rather the safe play for 5 or so yards than
there were too many safe plays.
Yeah, I agree.
There were too many safe, and I get it. He feels slot blitz, so he throws it to the side of Ferguson coming from the blitz. Yeah. They'll tell you hey, if you throw into a blitz, that you'll probably get a big play. Well, Ferguson doesn't have the ability anymore to make people miss. Mm. You're throwing the ball on 3rd and long, and you're throwing the ball to Ferguson when I would rather you try and take a shot. And maybe I'm being a little dramatic here, but you try max protect, and one of your linemen get beat. Yeah. And maybe that's the problem. But this offense, even without Lamb, they had guys that got open. They just did not do a very good job of when they needed to get a block or they needed a pickup of making sure that the quarterback had ample enough time to make that throw.
Brian, do you think that maybe Shotty has to make an adjustment to calling plays in different situations? Like it's easy to call plays when you're in the lead or your first 15. Everything is so scripted, it's on paper. Yeah. But what I felt like, the obvious answer was they went away from the run game because they were trailing.
Right.
I still feel like they had a lot of time to run the football, though.
Yeah.
Because of how well you were running the football.
Right.
Like, yeah, you were down the whole game, and the defense didn't really do a good job of like slowing things down at all. But I still feel like you had opportunities to still give the ball to Williams. Williams only had 10 carries, I believe.
Yeah, it was. He averaged almost 8 yards a carry is what he did. So,
8 yards a carry. Bryan Broaddus, like, get the ball to him a little bit more, and maybe that'll make Dak's job a little easier. But instead, we went into this catch-up mode, and it was all like pass. You know, so you would say that that's a Schottenheimer issue, or is that like a Dak doing better issue?
Well, I think to me though, when you look at with Shotty in play calling, and you're right, you're in a hurry-up mode. But you're in a situation where, run the football. But if you don't find ways, if you're kicking field goals now, and nothing against, in what you have as a field goal kicker, but that punting in that game was bad.
You need 7.
Yeah, punting was bad in that game.
Yeah.
The fact that we always talk about the middle 8 and find a way, hey, you get the ball with like 4 minutes left in the half. And what do? You punt the ball back to them, and they drive and score touchdown. And then you come out in the second half and you don't do anything to start the second half. And then now you're really behind things. And so, I feel like to me, Dak taking what they can give, sure. But also, though, he's going to look at that tape. He probably looked at other tape on the way and goes, damn, I missed that one. Mm-hmm. Damn, I missed that one.
Yeah.
And that's where almost – with the way this, and it's going to sound terrible, but with the way this defense is, you almost have to take chances. You have to. And Zach Wolchuk in the pregame, not the pregame, during the game, at halftime asked me, what do you have to do, Broaddus? I said, I'm not punting. Yeah. I'm not punting because the Dallas defense is, and we're going to get into this, but they are a mess back there. They are a mess in the back end. And you got situations, you wonder why guys are so wide open. It looks like half the guys are playing zone, half the guys are playing man. We've heard about communication problems. I'm looking at it going, whoa, how does Moore get that open?
Yeah.
But that's what you're dealing with right now. You're dealing with a team that really has no pass rush and is not playing very well in the secondary. So now the offense, everything is on Dak. And I'm sorry, folks, I don't mean to put everything on Dak. But this is your best chance to win.
Yeah.
Dak is your best chance to win.
It just is what it is at this point.
It is what it is.
Like, it's unfair. But
it is unfair. And I'm not.
But if you're going to win, that's the way to win. Yeah.
It's almost like you have to play, almost like you're playing a game against the Giants. Yeah. That's what this football thing has come down to. Maybe the defense gets a stop. Maybe they get you the ball back. But, man, I felt like there were some areas that they could have attacked in that zone defense, and guys did get into that area, just didn't make the throw that way. And it sounds like I'm blaming Dak for the loss. I'm not. I'm saying that they're going to look at this and should have attacked some of the things different from the Bears than what they did.
As far as offense goes, just one last point to keep it on this, Brian. CeeDee Lamb goes down, twisted up his ankle a little bit. Did somebody contact you on your magic phone and let you know,
Yeah, they were going to check it out today. No, I did not. I'll circle back and figure out how long. It sounded like listening to him post game that he's a guy that played with a bad shoulder, and that's what I worry about now about CD. He's going to keep playing, even if the ankle's bad. He's going to go out there and try and play. Yeah. So now, how compromised is CeeDee Lamb going into the game against the Packers? I'm sure he won't practice this week, and then they'll figure out to get him ready for the game.
You told me over there in your office, you have a very fantastic office. It's very next to my fantastic office, Brian. You were we both agreed that when the going got tough, Pickens kind of powdered a little bit.
Yeah.
And as excited as I could be about Pickens, we have to be fair.
I was disappointed too. Yeah.
We have to be fair. That's something that I've seen in a couple of games also, Brian. Like, if the ball's not coming his way,
right.
We're not getting that. Floyd always fighting for his life, so everything he does is at 100%.
Right. It has to.
Pickens is kind of loafing a little bit. What's your takeaway on that, Brian?
Yeah, I think this is I'm the guy I'm the biggest Pickens cheerleader there is. I think I was really happy that he got going against the Giants. I thought he would really step up against the Bears once that Lamb went down. But you had guys like Turpin stepping up, Tolbert, he did what he could. There were a couple of times where Tolbert was open. They run a switch route and he's open. Dak just doesn't have the opportunity, doesn't see, he checks the ball down, and instead of because of a blitz. And maybe he's not sure that the blitz is going to get picked up. But I'm saying this about Pickens. Towards the second half of that game, I'm going to be real honest, I didn't recognize any route he ran. I did not recognize what routes he was running. I felt it was very much like street ball. It was very, front yard football.
Just get open.
Just get open. It's even the interception was him trying to get open. It was an in-cut route, and Dak breaks the pocket, and Dak's running to his right, gets outside, Pickens adjusts with him, ball clangs off his hands. And after that point, you saw a very disinterested George Pickens playing football. And I did not recognize the routes that he was trying to execute in that football game. Everybody else, you could kind of figure out what Turpin was doing. You could see what Tolbert was doing. You could see what Flournoy was trying to do. But George Pickens, though, he did some things in that game that was a little bit disappointing as far as when your number one receiver goes down and you need somebody to take over that role. And I thought, okay, this is now George Pickens. He's going to come in here and save today. This is going to be a 13-catch day. This is going to be one of those days. Mm-hmm. It was far from that.
Man, Brian, I was looking at the defense, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
It seems like these are guys that have never played zone coverage in their life, Brian.
Yeah.
Before we start to break these guys down, I want to ask you this, and then I'm going to go back into being frustrated with them. Do you think there's a light at the end of the tunnel?
It's a train. It's a train coming right at you.
Coming right.
Yeah.
Like, you think, man, Flus is over there, and you got his number, Brian. He ain't going to never text us back, though.
No, he's not.
Talking about it.
He's not.
Brian, man, you think Flus is going, hey, man, the defense is good. We just got to get it. And it's going to take us playing in a game to get it. And I can understand that, but, boy, you are giving up chunk yardage at an alarming rate.
Yeah.
At an alarming rate. If you were a Giants fan and you was hating Russell Wilson, you feel real good for 1 week. If you a Bears fan and you got reservations by Caleb Williams, boy, you look good for you got good feelings all week because of the Cowboys defense, Brian.
Right.
As I was watching the Cowboys defense play zone, man, also for that matter, Brian, it feels like, here's an analogy, right? You know how you play offensive line,
right? And
you a center. Mm-hmm. Your job as center is much better when you know what the guards and tackles are doing.
Absolutely.
I can execute my blocks differently because I know where my guards are going to be, how they play. If we're comboing, I understand the leverage of this guy because I know how he get down. This guy's a little more powerful, so man, I can just go whoop. You know what I mean? You just have more information when you have a better idea about what the big picture is.
Right.
I think these guys on defense, Brian, I think they know what their job is, but I don't think they understand their job in the context of the whole scheme.
Makes sense.
I saw this weird cover 2 look. Mm-hmm. And the basic gist of cover 2 is that there's 2 guys in the flats, 2 guys deep. However you want to mix it up or whatever, that's what the gist of cover 2 is. And, man, I saw this one look where the corner that's normally playing flats, he ends up being the deep guy.
Right.
Donovan Wilson, who starts deep,
comes down.
He comes down to go play the flats or whatever. Right. I say, okay, Flus, I see you trying to be tricky right there. But Donovan doesn't have a good feel about how to get to the flats from depth. Does that make sense?
Makes absolute good sense, yep.
Or, like, if we're trying to pass guys along or something like that.
Right.
I don't think Sanborn has the best feel.
No.
Of how to pass an inside route to an outside corner.
Right.
And that corner spacing, it was probably Elam or something like that,
sure.
Right? That corner spacing, I don't think he had the grand scheme idea of, man, Sanborn ain't finna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let me haul ass in here.
Right.
But since they don't do that, there's big space in the middle for those guys to operate. That makes sense for the Bears offense to operate.
Absolutely.
Brian, I can't count how many times I saw Donovan Wilson just turning around, looking behind him, and nothing's behind him.
Yeah.
or Malik Hooker stepping up one time and then having to bail back. On the damn flea flicker, everybody bit on it.
Yeah, it's what's really funny about the flea flicker? Mozzie Smith almost made the tackle.
Ain't that annoying?
I mean,
if Mozzie's, it was Jay Toia, he'd have got it.
No, it's like no. But
I'm being funny. If Perry on definitely got it, I'm being funny. Go ahead. Please.
No, but it's funny because Mozzie wasn't on the stat sheet, and I was kind of watching Mozzie play, and literally he destroys the center, and he's on to Swift, and Swift just somehow flings the ball backwards. He throws it backwards, and Mozzie's like right there. I mean, it was almost like Mozzie could have got him before he, or maybe he grabs him, and then the ball goes somewhere crazy.
Yeah,
and you have a chance,
score something.
Yeah, you have a chance to get on the fumble or something like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, but you're absolutely right. I think when you look at overall the spacing, the awareness of how they're playing this is very confusing. And I'll tell you what, it got to the point, you talk about Wilson, it got to the point in the game where they put Wanye Thomas in for Wilson. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, they're down on the goal line and they're kind of making a couple of stops. Like Wanye Thomas is playing down and he's tackling and he's around the ball. Yeah. And then what happens, they put Wilson back in, and that's the weird sequence where it's Moore gets lost in the backfield or in the end zone, and I'm going, wait a minute. They're playing like, to Wilson's side, they're playing man. To the opposite side, they're playing zone where you see, Stewart and Diggs, and these guys are all just kind of standing there, kind of, playing at the goal line. Yeah. And then DJ Moore just runs, and then afterwards, like Hooker looks back inside like, what are we doing, boys? Yeah. What are we doing here? Yeah. And then everybody's kind of just walking off the field from that point. But yeah, Hooker and Stewart and those guys are all on one side, just kind of manning things up. And then the next thing you know, DJ Moore just kind of sneaks right behind everybody, and nobody's standing there. Everybody else on the other side's running around with guys. Yeah. What is that? What kind of coverage is that?
Donovan, he was actually in open space with nobody to the sideline.
Right.
Like nobody was over there.
Right.
And they kind of teach you, like, if you go into the flats, like, look over there.
Right.
And if anybody over there, you can cheat back inside a little
bit.
But Donovan kept running to nobody. Like, it was space to the flats, to the sideline, ladies and gentlemen. Right. The sideline. And he kept going over there when nobody's over there.
Right.
And all the action was in the middle.
Right.
I think if he was a more aware player of the grand scheme, he would initially think, okay, if nobody's over there, haul ass inside.
Right.
Because his goal line is going to happen fast. Nothing's over, and it's those inches, those small seconds that matter. Bryan Broaddus. I don't think you can keep playing defense this way if you got guys that don't understand how to operate. If Donovan Wilson, and I hate we got to keep beating up on him, but damn, you the scrub.
Yeah,
you the scrub.
Yeah.
If Donovan Wilson's only job is either hook and curl or like run defense or something like that, I think he's fine.
He had the one play where he was able to make it, where he was able to drive on from it. Donovan Wilson can, if it's right in front of him,
very physical.
He's physical, and he will go out and get the ball. And he had a pass breakup playing that way. But that's how he has to play.
Anything to the left or right, Bryan Broaddus, he running around in a circle.
Yeah.
I saw you tweeting from the Crown Global Media Twitter account. I just suggest y'all go follow that because we're going to be posting on that. We all going to get a log in, and we just going to be tweeting from it. You don't feel like the Cowboys have the players to be good on defense right now? The personnel, you say?
I don't. And to me, maybe they have the players, and maybe I'm misevaluating what they're doing scheme-wise. Because I have questions but are the players, and you brought this up, are the players doing everything they can to understand how they need to play scheme?
Yeah.
Maybe they have guys that can cover. Maybe I think it was really unfortunate that the one time that you felt like they were gonna get a jam, like when Diggs goes up the line and he gets a jam. His feet are all crazy. He's not square. He just kind of goes. It's kind of like he's just waiting.
But on that same token, Brian, that play where Diggs slipped on, right?
Right.
Jammed and slipped. If he would have acknowledged that Malik Hooker was the man next to him, and he had no help, I bet he wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
I bet he wouldn't. If Diggs knew in the grand scheme nobody was behind him, I bet he wouldn't have took that gamble.
See, to me, I've kind of felt like that. Like I like the fact that he was trying to redirect the route. Mm-hmm. That's what it, but the technique, was the technique great? No. He was just trying to stab, and his idea was to stab and then sync with the receiver but then he got all, his left foot slipped, and now he's in a bad position. Yeah. So, yeah, I watch it, and I'm thinking they can't be making this many busts in the secondary. They can't be. They can't be messing this up that badly. Mm-hmm. It's mind-boggling how they're playing some of these coverages.
One last thing, Bryan Broaddus, we're gonna get out of here and let the people go have some lunch. The pass rush,
non-existent, really. Yeah,
man, they just not getting there. I saw this lady. I wish I knew her name. I don't know her name. She works with the Bears from ESPN, and she tweeted out.
Is it Carmen Vitale?
No.
That's David Hellman's fiance.
Carmen.
Yeah,
I know Carmen. Shouts out to Carmen and Dave. They look lovely together. But nah, it's this other lady. She covers the Bears, and what she basically said, I retweeted.
Cronin from ESPN.
Some with a C, Brian.
Yeah, Cronin.
But she was like, out of all the games that Caleb Williams played, this is the first one where he didn't get sacked.
That was Cronin
at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. First game he's ever had where he did not suffer a sack.
Well, he didn't get sacked.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
No, it really, really is frustrating. And, and what.
Courtney Cronin, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And what's really frustrating about it to me is that.
Brian know everybody.
They made this offensive line look really good the way, they did. What I'm worried about, Voch, is you get a guy like Sam Williams. Mm-hmm. You know what Sam Williams is playing like right now?
What he's playing like?
You know what kind of technique he's playing right now?
He's running down the middle of people?
He reminds me very much of a 3-4 defensive end 5 technique that plays head up.
Sure.
That runs into the guy and is kind of
stacking and looking, yeah.
Kind of stacking and looking. Mm-hmm. He's rushing the passer like he's stacking and looking.
Yeah. He's not flying like...
Yeah, and it's funny, Dallas had a situation where if you look at metrics after the game, their get-off time was like 1 second. Mm-hmm. Like it didn't appear that they were playing that way. They were getting off the ball, but how are you ending up? Sam is playing so much like that 5 technique defensive end where it's engage, look, and not rush. Mm-hmm. Not rush, not get up the field. There were a couple of times Ezeraku, I felt like that he showed the ability to get up the field, kind of dip a little bit, try and get to, but the ball was gone. No, but they just haven't had that. They just don't have anybody that wins quick. They don't have anybody like that. That this defense misses that quick, that upfield, that beat the tackle, that disruptive kind of a player. They miss that. I mean, the guys play hard. I mean, Solomon Thomas plays hard. For the most part, Mozzie played hard. I mean, he just wasn't a factor. I mean, he almost was a factor. Mm-hmm. But they're just not overall getting it from this defensive line. And then when they bring pressure, the linebacker getting blocked, on the pressure. They're not winning against a running back. Swift, if you watch Swift against Minnesota and Detroit, he's getting beat on pass rush. Mm-hmm. He's getting beat one-on-one. He's not blocking well enough, but he's blocking you. That's how you lose football games.
Yeah.
When you're just not able to beat the players that are struggling. And we talked about this. And I go back to that Cowboy offense. I really do believe, as bad as Dallas's defense has been, mm-hmm. the offense lost this football game. Because, and I know that's harsh, but I'm saying it this way, they are going to have to put up points like they did against the Giants last week. That's just the best way for them to win. because their defense is just not good. And is it unfair? Yeah, it's unfair. But your best players are over there on the offensive side of the ball. And if they score 14 points in the game on the offensive side of the ball and turn the ball over and do what they did, you and I would be talking about the draft a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Than we probably want to.
Boy, we got tagged to a whole bunch of posts today.
People asking that when that draft, man.
Yeah, give me a couple more weeks to see what this thing looks like. If they lose to Carolina, I'm gonna go ahead and boot it on up. It's over.
You gonna start looking at guys?
If they lose to Carolina, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and look at some guys. But as far as Green Bay goes, Green Bay had a weird little game versus the Browns, but the Browns were able to get to the quarterback.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
that's what the Browns do.
If you're not getting the Jordan Love, man, it is what it is. Man, Bryan Broaddus, man, I see that hoodie you got on, man. What?
I tell you what, you talk. Go ahead and talk about the hoodie, though. I'm gonna do something here for you.
Well, if there's anything good about Chicago, Bryan.
Yeah, if there's anything good about Chicago, it's actually a piece of deep dish pizza, and shout out to my guy, our guy Zach Rowe, executive producer of the show, and the network.
Yeah,
Zach brought us some deep dish pieces. So not a total loss. Yeah, not a total loss here.
But Bryan, don't get none of that sauce on that nice hoodie there. People asking where can they get a Crown Global hoodie. I just want to let everybody know. Stay tuned. It's on the way, and when it's available, we're gonna be dropping links everywhere. So y'all hang tight. Don't worry about it, and don't be too sad neither, man. Don't be hurt about this. We're gonna figure it all out. We're gonna break down the film, cuss about it a little bit more. We're gonna reevaluate what we're doing, and we're gonna be on to the Green Bay Packers there, Bryan Broaddus. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. Y'all hit all the follows and algorithm things. We need that. Crown Global on social media. That's Bryan Broaddus. I'm Voch Lombardi. We'll catch y'all tomorrow. All right? Crown.